Breaking news, y'all. Dame Dash, after having this interview on the Breakfast Club that went super viral, where he violated Charlamagne the God, violated Camron, violated 50 Cent. He's suing Camron for $300 million, man. He has filed a defamation lawsuit against Camron. Let me read y'all this article, man. So Camron, he been on social media basically just clowning Dame Dash for not having any teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like he asked Dame Dash, "Can you whistle with your fake teeth or without your teeth?" Dame Dash was on the Breakfast Club showing off his dentures, and he showed off the fact that he has real diamonds inside of his dentures. When was it ever fly to put a diamond in a pair of dentures, my nigga? But Dame Dash did say that he's going to be able to get his veneers back in his mouth after 3 months. I guess his mouth has to heal and all that. So shout out to Dame Dash, man. Dame Dash went on the Breakfast Club talking about he's the new chairman of Revolt TV. Revolt shut that shit down in less than 24 hours. But let's get into the article. It says Dame Dash is in quite the financial bind these days, and it looks like he wants to secure some cash out of his beef with Camron. According to Ahmed/The Ears on Twitter, he launched a defamation lawsuit against Camron for $300 million for making allegedly false and bad faith claims about his businesses. This news reportedly comes from Dusko Poppington on Instagram and shows a letter of formal demand from the legal representatives of plaintiffs Damon Dash, his partner Raquel Horn, and the Dash Group. Also, the letter included a specific breakdown of alleged examples of these defamation, unjust enrichment, business disparagement, torturous interference, conspiracy, and harassment accusations. First, the letter mentions Camron's comments about Dame Dash and his partner Raquel Horn, his diminishing of the Dash Group's business acumen, his references and attempts to reach out to Dame's son, cutting him out of a cannabis deal he helped set up, unrightfully securing ownership and profit rights to Dipset clothing company, which Dame co-founded, and detailing confidential talks with Rockefeller that damaged Dame's relationship with them and Jay-Z. Dame Dash Camron lawsuit. So this is a tweet where he's basically showing the letter of the lawsuit. This is on Twitter, which is now known as X. It says, Camron made my wife and 2 sons uncomfortable. I would never do anything violent, and I don't want anyone that loves me to do anything violent. So this is the only way I can handle this. So basically, Dame Dash is saying that, you know, he's filing this lawsuit because he really wants to put hands and feet on Camron, but because he has love for him, he doesn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So let me read you guys the full lawsuit. It says formal demand for $300 million in damages, defamation. Okay, we already read that. It says you made repeated public statements, including on Instagram, falsely calling Mr. Dash a liar and undermining his credibility in connection with Bosses Take Losses after other business dealings. You admitted on video that the entire situation was a lineup, therefore conceding participation in a reputational sabotage. These actions interfere with Mr. Dash's business negotiations, including with Rockefeller and Jay-Z. Number 2, defamation and harassment of Raquel Horn. You published social media posts falsely stating that Damon Dash owns nothing and that all assets are in Miss Horn's name. You disparaged Miss Horn personally, causing humiliation, reputational harm, and emotional distress. Disparagement of the Dash Group by publicly attacking Mr. Dash's ownership, interest, and credibility. You damaged the Dash Group's reputation and interfere with its ability to conduct business. This constitutes business disparagement and torturous interference with prospective economic advantage, attacks on family. You made false statements about the ownership of Mr. Dash and Miss Horn's residence. Damn, Dame Dash is really crashing out, y'all. Camron, how are you suing Camron for $300 million and Camron doesn't even have $300 million? Like, I don't know, man. This can't be real, bro. You made comments that forced Mr. Dash to involve his son, Christian Dash, causing him discomfort. You attempted to pay Damon Dash $5,000 to appear on your show for the purpose of embarrassing his father, despite knowing the sensitive nature of their relationship. Wow. G5/Pink Mink cannabis deal. Mr. Dash introduced you to Larry Smith for the purpose of pursuing a cannabis venture, including the proposed Pink Mink strain. You went behind his back and pursued the deal directly, cutting him out entirely. Holy shit. This constitutes misappropriation of business opportunity, bad faith, and unjust enrichment. 6. Dipset Clothing Company. Mr. Dash co-founded the Dipset Clothing Company with the expectation of a 50-50 ownership structure. He funded production, created samples, and financed promotion and content. You excluded him from ownership and profits in breach of agreement and an unjust enrichment of yourself. 7. Pattern of historic sabotage. Years ago, you prematurely announced confidential Rockefeller business conversations, damaging Mr. Dash's relationship with Jay-Z and the Rockefeller team. While the statute of limitations may bar a standalone claim, these acts demonstrate a long-standing pattern of malicious intent that continues to this day. As a direct proximate result of your conduct, the plaintiff has suffered reputational harm, emotional distress, and loss of business opportunities. Emotional distress and reputational harm, business disparagement. According to our clients, hereby demand you within 14 days of receipt of this letter, 1. Cease and desist from making further false defamatory or disparaging statements regarding Damon Dash, Rocco Horn, and the Dash Group. Remove all defamatory posts and issue a full public retraction and apology on Instagram, YouTube, and other platforms where the statements were made. 3. Provide a full accounting of all revenues and profits derived from the Dipset Clothing Company and G5 Pink Mint Cannabis venture and remit to Mr. Dash his rightful ownership interest. 4. Compensate plaintiffs in the amount of $300 million. 5. Preserve all evidence, including social media posts, videos, communications with Larry Smith, business records related to Dipset Clothing cannabis deals, text messages, emails, and direct messages. Bro, this is crazy, man. So Dame Dash is claiming that, and this may be true, right? I think this is actually true. He's claiming that he helped Camron get his own weed cannabis, right? Which is called Pink Mink. And he's saying that he also invested in Camron's Dipset Clothing, right? We all know Dipset Clothing is pretty popular, right? Maybe not these days, but you know, it's probably made a lot of money, right, up until this point in 2025. I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea that Dame Dash helped Camron start the Dipset Clothing. I had no idea about that. So this is crazy, man. Dame Dash is crashing out, man. He's crashing out. You know, you lied about being the chairman of Revolt TV. You were saying how you've been trying to buy Revolt for years, and Revolt came out and said you were lying, bro. And like I said, I believe Dame Dash, but I think they did that because of him announcing something before it was official and him going on the interview, you know, talking about he wants to punch Charlamagne the God in the face and he thinks Charlamagne the God is gay. Dame Dash, you have to understand that Revolt was just owned by Diddy, bro, right? The last thing that they want to do is affiliate their company with somebody that is known for crashing out, right? We've seen what happened with Diddy, right? Dame Dash, you are known for since we first knew about you, you're a crash out, right? You're a hothead, you're a crash out. You have anger problems. You're known to not sustain relationships, even with your own family members. And I can't really blame Revolt TV for deciding to, you know, not want to make you the chairman and pretty much make you look stupid. Because it's like you haven't really evolved that much since, you know, your Rockefeller days with Jay-Z. Like, you're still doing the same thing you was doing back then. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Dame Dash. I fuck with Dame Dash. Dame Dash really, because I've always wanted to be a boss myself. And I remember with his first Breakfast Club interview, he was saying things that I agreed with 100%. But it's just not looking good for Dame these days, man. He just filed bankruptcy, which it's not the worst thing in the world, because many people in business, they file bankruptcy to protect their assets. You understand what I'm saying? 50 Cent filed for bankruptcy. He's still a billionaire. I mean, he's still a millionaire. Donald Trump filed for bankruptcy. He's a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, who else filed for bankruptcy? Many people have filed for bankruptcy that's in business, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're broke, right? Like 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying? 50 Cent.